And Michael, since COVID hit, how did you cope with it since it started? And how did that made an impact on your life?
Well, I feel like I need probably in like 5 years from now, I'll look back and I'll have a better perspective. I still feel like I'm in it, so it's hard to analyze. Really interested, like to hear what you'd say, Nick, and you, Alan. Um, I think it's been hard. It's been tough. I was talking to a friend the other night and she loves this, what was it called? Like, I forget, but it's a type of pastry. And she was so sad because the cafe that makes this pastry closed down. And so she was like, I didn't know what to do. So I decided that I would learn how to make this pastry, even though it takes forever to make. And she's like, I know it shouldn't be a big deal, but it's just been like the one consistent thing throughout COVID. And when I was listening to her, I was like, yes, because the truth is, like, throughout this whole time, it's like I've just gotten crumbs of life, like crumbs of the world that used to be. Like, I just get a few now that we're in COVID. So when you take one away from me, I'm like, ah. But I feel like that, like in a way, I haven't enjoyed not being able to go around to be with people. Um, I haven't enjoyed the restrictions. But the great thing about being an artist is that usually limitations are opportunities for invention and for stretching the limits. And so I've tried to expand my interior world to the extent of the exterior world, but I'm not quite able to do that, and I miss people a lot. And I've had a lot of meetings in the bathtub because I live in a one-room apartment with my partner. So yeah.
And and Helen, same question for you too. Since COVID hit, how did you cope with it since it started? And how did that make an impact on your life?
Yeah, I'm probably going to say something really similar to Michael because I think that, like, you start off by sort of thinking to yourself, okay, I've got my health. Like, everybody I know, no one that I know has died from COVID. So I do, and I still have a job. I know a lot of people as a result of this have lost their jobs, whether temporarily or in total. So I have a place to live. I have all of the things that technically I need to survive, but that doesn't mean I'll thrive. And, I think for the first 6 months, I was really trying to sort of dismiss my feelings of being upset, because what do I have to be upset about? I have all the things I need technically to be okay. And then I was like, I think like it's gotten a little bit easier just being like, hey, like this time is not normal, so it's okay that you don't feel normal, and it's okay not to be okay. And like, I guess I'm just coping for me is sort of trying to do nothing, which is sort of very hard for someone who, like Michael, like I like doing things and being out in the world. And I normally, I'm happiest when I've got a lot of different things juggling. And now being stuck at home is a new way to help me grow patience. Though it's a lesson I don't enjoy learning. It's sort of like if you only wanted to eat sugar and someone was like, okay, and now you will only get carrots, which I like carrots, but yeah. I guess like for me, that's sort of where I'm at. I mean, I do think that like working on like writing more just not for my job, like just for me, has been like very like helpful. And we'll see what happens. I think that it's true. Like, I don't necessarily, like what Michael said, like, I don't necessarily know how it's changed me or made an impact on my life until like either A, this becomes the new normal, or B, we have just a little bit more perspective. But I'm looking forward. I mean, I'm just waiting for a vaccine. Like, I'm looking forward to like I don't know, getting to do even small things that remind me of it. And I was like thinking about that yesterday when I was watching sort of like how some of the people at the White House were interacting, like the staff with some of the journalists, and they were just like chatting. I was like, wow, people are just so normal when they've got the vaccine. Like they seem so relaxed. Like, dang, I can't wait until that happens. Yeah.
Now, on the positive things, can you tell me and our viewers of the Disability Channel a bit about the Battle of the Fans?
I love it. Well, I feel like you're the one, Nick, that should be talking about it because you were the co-host of this event. But yeah, the idea was we wanted to celebrate disability pride. We wanted to call out people's creativity around the world. We wanted to have a good time. We wanted to raise money for things we care about. And so we came up with an international lip sync competition idea. Didn't know if it was going to work. Didn't know if we could pull it off. Didn't know if we'd have any hosts. But we got lucky and we got the best host in the world, the best two hosts in the world.
Yeah.
Got a great crew together. Like, to have Ellen on board was just amazing. I called her for recommendations because I didn't think I could ask for her to take it on. And she was like, hey, I'm down for that. And yeah, and we had communities make these amazing, amazing films from all around the world. And they had 2 days to turn around to lip sync. And they did it like with pizzazz and creativity. And I was blown away week after week after week.
Yeah.
Nick was coming up with the most amazing intros. Lucy was coming up with the most amazing intros. She was the other co-host for those who didn't get to see it. And we had an awesome time. I mean, and UK created their own league. A lot of people didn't know that. The UK created their own league and they had an awesome time. And yesterday I talked to members in France, L'Arche members, and they want to create a league next year. So
that's amazing. I didn't know that.
Yeah, that's hot off the press. So
yeah.
I think we might have a growing competition.
And I mean, just to give the people at the Disability Channel a little bit of context, it was sort of like the way that the competition got conceived of was like if you took like March Madness, which, okay, I hope people in Canada know what that is. But March Madness is like a competition where two teams face off and then there can only be one winner. So we started with, was it 24 or 28 teams?
We started with, in the end, 28, but there were
Yeah.
32 slots, and then.
So we had 28 teams that started, and every round, only one of those teams could advance. So little by little, the number of teams competing got smaller and smaller until we got to this final championship, which was so amazing. It was such a nice thing to have that final championship be like in the days right before Christmas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
US versus Canada.
Yeah.
And Kenya, third place.
And what is the most rewarding part of Battle of the Fans for both of you?
I mean, there's the friendship side of it, Nick. Like, I feel like I had always really respected your work and, wanted to work with you, but I feel like we're friends now. I think that's a big reward. Ellen, we are friends, but we haven't been able to work on something much. And so I feel like there was a lot of great things from that regard, from a selfish perspective. That was really rewarding. I mean, I was laughing so hard every week when we were working together. We had so much fun. And so that was a big one. But also, like, the other thing is I'd say is, we heard the sweetest things from people. Nick, I'm sure you got a lot of DMs that were really awesome. But also, like, L'Arche, we heard from somebody who never heard of L'Arche from Long Island. And they said, I've been watching this show every week. It's the best part of my year. And, that just knowing that is so rewarding. It feels so good to know that we came up with this crazy idea, didn't know if it would work. And then like a few weeks later, somebody goes online, gets a suggested video on the corner of their YouTube, clicks on it, and all of a sudden finds the highlight of their year right in front of them. You know, Nick in a headband.
Yeah, I remember that.
The costumes were one of the highlights, definitely.
Never underestimate Nick's closet.
Oh God, no. What is your rewarding part, Helen?
Well, for me, I mean, I don't know. This year has been defined by a lot of like negative, right? Like what we don't have, but this was so positive. It was like, I think sometimes it's hard to create something without like some kind of motivation, and a competition is a really great motivator. And so for me, I think that that's like, I mean, and then on top of it, I think that like, you know, when Michael and I were talking about it, like it was all of the creativeness, you know, from like Michael and I being like, ooh, what songs are we going to pick? And then editing down like the shorter versions for everybody was super fun. And then, but really it was like putting something into a black box. You know, we picked the songs and put them into the box, and then everybody, all of the communities took them, and there's absolutely like the kinds of things that people put into their videos was something that we could never, like, there was just so much creativity. We could have never imagined what was going to come out of it. And I mean, and I think that, you know, Michael and I talked a lot about this, like, it didn't matter whether a community had really a lot of production skills. Some of the most creative videos were ones that were low production, like filmed on cell phones and not too like intensive in terms of the styling or anything like that, but they still had like a point of view and a storyline, and it was really cool to see that that happen. And then, I mean, for me, I think that that's the biggest reaction. And what Michael said, it like having an audience that found this to be something that was positive in their lives. I think it sort of just helps to be an antidote for everything that is the pandemic and other stuff that has gone not necessarily that great this year. Yeah.
Nick, what was your answer to that before you ask us another question? What was the most rewarding thing for you?
Actually, the most rewarding part for me, it was a lot of fun doing it. And what you guys were saying with the costumes. My rewarding part was the popcorn.
Yes, we learned in the context of this entire competition that Nick loves popcorn. Loves.
Oh yeah, I love popcorn.
Loves.